Hi, I've been meaning to do a video about this for a long time, but because the topic is so broad, I didn't really know how to address it, and also I've just been postponing it, but here it is. So, I really wanted to talk about racism linked to mental health because they are really important topics for me right now, and I think it is important that we address them. Um, But basically, my main message is that people should really think about what they say or what they do really carefully before actually acting upon those emotions or desires or just like impulses, because it can really affect people's mental health. I myself struggle with anxiety and other mental health issues, and I am working on it. But the thing is, if every time I leave my house, I know I will get harassed, or at least 99% of the time I will get harassed, then it doesn't help. And like growing up, I already struggled with feeling a sense of belonging. As a Spanish born Chinese, like being at my school wasn't easy. I know it wasn't the toughest it could be. Fortunately, my parents could take me and send me to a private school, but still, you would hear things like, oh, Chinese people are gonna invade our school. And literally, I did my math out of both curiosity and anger, and we were just like 5% of all the student body was Chinese. And like, for example, in year two, I remember clearly because it impacted me so much. I was in school, I was in a table with other peers, and a girl asked me, oh, can you see with your eyes? Can you see properly with your eyes? And I was in shock. And then there were two other guys beside her, and they kind of laughed, and they just stared at me, waiting for a response. And back then, I was probably like 5 years old. And so I said, yes, why wouldn't I be able to see? And that's when I learned that my eyes are, in theory, known to be smaller, or they are different to theirs. And it kind of made me feel like I didn't belong and a bit of like an outsider because my eyes were different. And I didn't really know that. Like, as a 5 year old, you don't really know that, you're not aware of it. And and I've had many other occasions where I've been kind of pointed out something about my race or about my appearance. For example, in year five, this new student came in. He was Dutch, and he came to me. No, he didn't come to me. He wouldn't talk to me nor sit beside me. So one day we were in the dining hall, and the logical thing for him was to like sit beside me, but he left a space in the middle and sat on the other space. And I didn't ask anything because for me it was kind of normal to not be popular or to not be liked necessarily by people around me. So I didn't ask any questions. But then my friend, or like my peer, she asked him like, oh, why do you not sit beside her? And he said, oh, because she eats dog. And I was like so shocked. Like, I was like, oh wow. And that's when I learned that apparently people like me, people who look like me, we're supposed to eat dog, or there's this kind of saying that we eat dog. So I was a bit confused, but at the same time, a bit hurt, obviously. And I was like, oh no, I just told him I don't eat dog, and he was okay with that, and he sat beside me. But the thing is, like, at that age, which probably was like I was 9, maybe, I don't know, like, I kind of received all this kind of comments that hurt and stay with you for a long time. It's been over 10 years since that event. And like, also on their side, like, people, when they're 10 or they're 9, they already have this bias against Asian people, and all these prejudices and all these assumptions that really can hurt people for kind of all their lives, and that kind of adds up to myself not being able to, or not feeling like I belonged there. And I did also my research, and like, I read that Spain is a really like xenophobic country. But then, even when I came to London, where I thought that I would be so much better here, because London tries to be like a melting pot of like cultures, and it is a very diverse place, I still get harassed daily. I have met a lot of people that share similar experiences to me, and I've made so many friends who are similar to me, and really I'm really grateful for them because they can understand my struggles. But still, when I go out on this, like, to the street for a walk or whatever, to do groceries, I go back to feeling that again I don't belong. And when people make comments like that, when they say to me China, or go to your country, go back to your country, or leave my country, or whatever, it really doesn't help me. And I think this is a really big struggle, especially for third culture kids like myself and a lot of the people around me, like especially like westernized Asians, where we already kind of struggle with this kind of identity issues, where we don't belong in Asia, but we don't belong here either. Um, for you to say those things, it's very conflicting in our minds. And I assure you, it doesn't help our mental health. And the thing is, people really take for granted the impact these kind of comments can have on people. Recently, I was on a walk with somebody, and within 1 minute, we got harassed. And I'm not going to repeat what they said because it's kind of disgusting and objectifying. But the person I was with, had to stop, cried, and we stopped there to like calm down and kind of be able to continue with our walk. But it kind of ruined our evening, because after these kind of things, you don't only like get angry at them or like get mad or disappointed, but you kind of lose faith in humanity. You forget, you are reminded how people are so detached to like their human selves, and they just like, people really just see race and gender, and like forget that in reality we're all just humans, and like, people like without thinking just project their own emotions and struggles onto others. But like, that's not right, because I've got close people who are close to me that have said before, like, oh, I didn't really sign up for this, and basically saying that I don't really know if it's worth living if we're always in this constant fear of being harassed, or constant fear of people attacking us, or like having to worry about institutional racism, not being able to do certain things or being in disadvantage because of the way we look. And it's just so disheartening because these people are close to me, and thinking that they would want to commit suicide because of this issue is really sad. And I feel like a lot of people have probably experienced similar things, and it's just not fair and not right that because of the way we look and because of people not really thinking about what they're saying or what they're doing, some people can really actually end up ending their lives. And so I just thought it was important to raise awareness, especially because fortunately, I do have the privilege of having like received a proper education and being able to speak out for myself. I think it is important to raise awareness about not only racism, not only harassment, and not only mental health, but also raising awareness and speaking out about how people's actions, however small they might seem to you and meaningless it can seem to you, it can really affect other people. And it's just not fair that so many people have to go through this. And it's just not fair that those who are privileged enough to have a choice to not care about the issue, to just ignore it just because, yes, we didn't sign up for this.